Right. Ooh, sorry. It's a little dark, but the whole point is to set a vibe. Okay. I'm here. Um, I did notify you guys I was going live, so I'm waiting on people to get here. However, how are you guys doing today? For the replay gang, how are y'all doing? Comment below. It is such a hey, what's up, Micah? See, I knew I had people like on the way. How are you? I'm gonna just like give a little intro before we get into the thick of things. Good to see you. Hope studying is going well. Hopefully, it has warmed up by you. It has like warmed up where I'm at, and that is making a little bit of a difference. I felt like I had a lot of energy today, but I'm also taking a lot of vitamins and minerals, and I'm really on like a health kick right now. So I don't know, but definitely having warmer weather makes a big difference. Like today, I was able to get so much stuff done, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Because the last couple of days, I've just been like, I can only do 2 things a day and I'm done. I'm tired. I don't have any energy. But I did a lot of shit today. So feeling really good, feeling really productive. Um, okay, good. Shout out to you. Glad that like you're relaxing after the exam. That's a good sign. As you guys know, I updated my name to woke pop culture. I love the name pop culture conspiracy. I think it's such a lit name, and I definitely want to keep it in my arsenal. But with woke pop culture, I feel like it's more algorithm friendly, and I feel like it's just a little bit softer to get people to like join the brand, join the movement. Because when people hear conspiracy, they, like think conspiracy theory or conspiracy theorist. And unfortunately, we're in a time where conspiracy theorists are kind of like seen as crazy or off or like a little bit weird. And I get it. Like my channel is supposed to be different and unique, but I really, again, for algorithm purposes, I feel like woke pop culture is a little bit lighter and like easy to digest. And I'm trying to grow. Like, I've been doing this for a while. I'm blessed to be like monetized this year. What's up, Dion? Good to see you. I'm talking about like the name thing. I'm actually glad you're here because like Dion, you've been here for a minute. I'm definitely trying to grow my channel, and like thank you to everyone who's here and everyone who watches and all my subscribers, because I am monetized this year. Like I reached my goal, but I really want to like continue to grow. I want to continue to, go to like bigger levels and like grow a bigger audience. And I mean, I've been really, really blessed, especially on TikTok, to be able to have like several, like I'm much more successful on TikTok, but there's even still room there for me to grow. And again, I just feel like if I want to go up more levels, it's like I feel like okay, it's bad enough I'm talking about things that are against the grain. Thank you, Kaylee. No, thank you guys. Like you guys are like how I got there. But and I've been able to like gain traction again, especially on TikTok, because YouTube's algorithm is a little bit different. But yes, I'm really blessed. Like super blessed to be monetized. Um, but I don't know. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna have to like work on that when I get off of here. Cause I'm like, I don't know if I set up my monetization for this, but whatever. Um, however, I'm like talking about things that are like, off the beaten path. And I just think it'd be a little bit easier to just again get to next levels with like a little bit of a gentler name. So that's why I moved over to woke pop culture. I'm totally down for you guys to like give your opinion. Let's talk in the comments. Let me know what you think. But without further ado, I want to talk about Squid Game 2, Season 2. Did you guys watch it? If you have, let me know. I um, watched it, and I watched Season 1 as well. And with Squid Game 2, just I want to say again, just great writing. Like it's so good to see like a genuinely good TV show. it is rare nowadays. I think a lot of stuff will be good and then it'll only get one season, or it's just not good. I feel like we see a lot of, okay, season one was really good, it's totally worth your time watching. It has great plot twist. Okay, great. Well, I think Squid Games does a lot of like exposing a lot of the stuff we talk about here with just the wealthy people, some of the world's richest people, like being super sadistic and using their money and using people's bad decisions and desperation against them to get them to unalive each other. Yeah, I'm excited for season three. Getting people to unalive each other for their viewing pleasure. That's what Squid Game is all about. And it kind of gives like Hunger Games vibes. Like if you've seen Hunger Games, Squid Game is like kind of like that. And again, rich people, getting people who are poor and destitute to play a very dangerous game because they are just so goddamn, again, desperate. Now, I think with like Hunger Games, the people didn't have a choice. I know on the first movie, what's her name? Whatever the girl, Jennifer Lawrence's character, Katniss, she volunteered as tribute, but I think the other people, like, they just were picked. Or maybe like their district nominated them, but I think they were picked. Either who. Anywho, the good thing about Squid Games is, like, again, it pertains to a lot of what we talk about here, where the people have a choice. They have a choice. They don't have to go through with it, but they decide to go through with it. And that's what this is all about. A lot of it is like you have free will. You don't have to do this. You don't have to risk your life. You don't have to continue to risk your life. You don't have to behave the way that you do. You don't have to be greedy. You don't have to like do what you do what we see the characters do, but they do it because they want to. And so at that point, you can't blame anybody but yourself for the consequences of your actions. But again, that's why the writing is just so great. Is a great writing because it's a really good lesson in human psychology and just human behavior, and like how people react, how they react under stress, how they react when there's money on the line, how they react in times of desperation, how they react when there's competition. It's really a great lesson in how humans behave, and it's very realistic writing. And I think that's just something that should be appreciated in today's time. Hollywood is still making good TV shows, but I'm also just tired of like a lot of stuff being about sex and drugs. Now, this is a show about murder. We see a lot of murder on TV shows, but it's just a more interesting turn that has like real storytelling in it and some really good plot twists that are unexpected. And we love that kind of stuff. We love good storytelling and good writing abilities. So shout out to the writers, the producers, everybody who made the show happen, because it's a great show. Now, this season is about one of the winners from the first. A little bit of a spoiler for those who haven't seen. There was a gentleman in the first season who won. There's 456 players, and the prize is supposed to be 45.6 billion. And it all depends. Okay, I think I've heard of White Lotus, but I gotta go check it out. But it's a lot of prize money on the table, and it's about like if you get to the end, there's several games, but if you get to like as they go along, there's more and more prize money that's added. And if they get to the end, however many people get to the end, then they get the 45.6 billion. Now, in the first season, only one person made it to the end, and so he got all 45.6 billion. The games are very high stakes. They're like easy games, but they're high stakes. It's not as like crazy and like aggressive and bloodthirsty, as like the Hunger Games, but it's just like something that is like fairly easy, but the stress and the pressure can still make people overthink or just behave stupidly, and they tend to mess up an easy thing. Now, some of the games are a little bit tricky, some of them are a little bit like hard, but it's all like children's like childhood games. So it's like some of it requires like strategy or skill, but a lot of it doesn't. So that's something to really think about here, because that's a really crucial part of the show is like a lot of the games that they're playing are just not that hard, especially on this season. I watched the whole thing. The games on the first season were a little bit trickier in my opinion. Like they had one game with where they were like having to jump and like see if it was like they might jump to their death, and they were like high up, and it was glass like a glass bridge or whatever, like glass squares, and you just don't know which one's gonna break, and you don't know which one is real glass. And so that was pretty tricky. But like this season, the games were like pretty chill and fun. The shit wasn't that tricky. They had again one series of games that like was kind of like, oh shit, okay, you gotta like kind of be on your shit, but a lot of it really isn't that bad. So the one who won, the main character who won from season one, is still traumatized by the things that he went through and things that he saw. Hi, what's up? Cheers from America. He's still traumatized by the things that he saw and the things that like he went through, and so he wants to join the game again to stop it. He wants to find the people that are running the game, and he wants to put it into it. He wants to like be the hero, be the martyr. And his name is Song Gyeon. And they chipped him and everything. And like he removes the chip, and like he goes on like this big search. He's been trying to search for these people for years, like the men that he ran into at the subway. Because how these people are recruited is there's this man named Gong Yu, and he's like a guy in a suit, and he like finds people at the subway station who he know. Like you can tell like they are like following people who have a lot of debt, and he finds these people, and like he offers to play a game with them, and that's how he like starts the initiation process, or starts the recruiting process to get them to come out and like play. And so Song Gyeon is like looking for this guy, and he spends a lot of money, has a whole team of people out there looking for him. They finally find him, and he eventually gets rid of Gong Yu. Gong Yu is not a good person at all. He's completely soulless, but he gets rid of him, and then he gets to his journey, and eventually goes along the journey of eventually getting back into the game. So he's back. I don't want to spoil too much, and I don't want to be here all night either. So Song Gyeon, 456, player 456, winner from the season one, he manages to get back into the games. And by his own choice, he makes that choice. He wants to go on this mission. Now he has a crew of people who are trying to like find the island where he's at, because this place is on like some discrete island. And that is also another thing that we've been talking about, and that the media has been talking about. It's like these islands, and like organ harvesting is a big part of this season too, because I think this whole operation, a lot of it is to try to get rid of people. It's kind of like purge vibes as well. A lot of it is to try to get people to like eliminate themselves. They have so much debt, it's like they're just better off dead, because they're never going to like get out of it. This is their only shot. And then again, like the chance that they do get out of it at these games is like slim to none. So it's better for them to just die and just get unalived. And once they're dead or unalive, they can just take their organs. They feel like the people who are watching or running the games feel like, hey, they weren't worth shit anyway. They were like in hundreds of millions and billions worth of debt. So, kill them, take the organs, move on. Pretty heartless. And we know that like organ harvesting and organ trafficking is like big business. So that was like a really big part of this season. I don't want to say a really big part, but that definitely was like a crucial part of this season. I was like, damn, they're really exposing like how much this like organ harvesting shit is like a big deal. Just like it was exposing like the people who run the games are like in mass, and it gives like Rothschild vibes. And we see like some symbolism of like the black and white chessboard. Like we saw that in the first season. And the blue and the red and like the X and the O. So there's definitely some like Freemason symbolism here. Also with there's this one guy who's brothers with, like, in the first season at the end, come to find out, like, I think like two of the guys who were like running the game, or like you know in charge of the game, they were actually brothers, but they didn't know it, or they didn't know before they unmasked that they were brothers. And one of them is Young Il, and or he calls himself Young Il, and then the other one is Wee Ha Jun. Now Young Il is the one who um kind of like the bad guy, and he because he's like one of like the masked bad guys, and he joins in on the game because they're like watching and listening in on the players. So he joins in on the game, and he's playing right alongside Song Gi-han, the guy who, player 456, who wants to end it all. He hears that this guy wants to end it all, so he decides to get into the game to manipulate the game. Now, this is the second time that we've had somebody from the background or somebody from the higher ups join in on the game, because even in the first season, there was this older man who was playing alongside Song Gi-han, who was like a, actually a part of like the whole operation. So there is some like manipulation in this game. There is like a level of unfairness to it. Now in this season, we kind of left off on like a really great cliffhanger, and it seems like even the people who are like part of the team who are looking for the island, the captain of that ship is like in on it too. So it just really shows much how much influence and just how far the reach of this system. Clearly this is a system that is going on, and I'm excited for season 3 because I want them to expose just how far and how deep that system goes. Now, Mr. Young Il, the bad guy who joins in on the game in this season, he is player 1. So he's working alongside player 456. And I think that's interesting because you have the first and the last, player 1 versus the last player, 456. Now, something that is really interesting in this all is, again, you have a lot of people who are in a lot of debt. A lot of them just made poor decisions. Gambling, addiction, investing in crypto, bad investments. A lot of it is bad investments. We saw that even in the movie Parasite. If you've seen the film Parasite, which was, I think, a Korean film, it was talking about that family was in so much poverty because just one bad business investment kind of turned their whole lives upside down. And I did see like this content creator that was saying in Korea and in some Asian countries, they don't have the same resources that we have here in America. Their profit margin, or like their margin for failure, is very slim. A lot of them do unalive themselves when they end up in a lot of debt. Here we can just file for bankruptcy, but I don't think that they have that option over there. So a lot of people just kind of like crash out once they make a bad investment, and then they are in all this debt because they don't know how they're going to get out of it. They really do have to like work their way out of it, and it can feel like it's just never going to happen. I mean, even here in America, when people are in a lot of like when their home forecloses, or when they do end up in a lot of debt for whatever reason, it can make you feel like you just want to end it all. But again, we do have the option for bankruptcy, which can like allow you to start over. But many of them cannot just start over. And so they're willing to risk it all. One thing that is like interesting to me is how these people, like they see people dying after every game, and they continue to want to play. Even when Song Gi-han, again, he starts the games off trying to warn people, trying to show them how to play, trying to give them tips and advice, trying to tell them what's going to happen. And many people think that he's a crazy man, or think that he's a liar. They think that he's trying to manipulate the game so that they can have less money. They just don't believe him. and then people start dying, and some of them start to believe him, but then some of them are just still so money hungry that they just choose to be contrarian. And that was really interesting for me to watch, because as a person who, like, again, I just told you guys, I rebrand I rebranded again because the word conspiracy, again, is kind of looked down on. And truth, I always told you guys, truth is becoming a cult in a society where lies are so, um, we're in a society where lies are so common and widespread and accepted and promoted and pushed. The truth can be shunned. The truth can be seen as occult knowledge. The truth is like kind of looked down on. Like people don't want to hear it. They think that you're crazy, think you're a loser. Like, meanwhile, there are people who are running around online flexing fake butts, fake lifestyles, fake money, fake success, and those are the ones who are praised. So that was a really good lesson to take from this, is like, don't try to save anybody. And, you know, like, it's not worth it. Like, if you try to speak the truth, you will be attacked. But that's even like a philosopher. It's like there's like this Greek philosopher who, I don't remember if it's like Hippocrates or Socrates or Plato, but like one of them was saying like, he who is hated who speaks the truth. And it is very, very true. But like Song Gyan like really goes on like this mission to try to like save these people, and it really all backfires in the end. And that was also just a lesson: do not try to save people. You really got to only focus on yourself, because Song Gyan could have just taken his money, try to focus on his family, try to just like focus on his healing and going after just like peace in his life, and just getting away from all this. He had enough money to just start over and move on with life. And again, try to spend most of his money on therapy and his family. But no, he sacrifices himself to an extent, like he does, sacrifices his freedom and his safety to try to save the many, try to save. He puts his whole life at risk to try to save people who really don't want to be saved. And that is a big lesson. Like, you cannot save people who do not want to be saved. And it is not worth your time. It is not worth you risking anything. There's zero wins. There are zero rewards with trying to save people. Again, most people do not want to be saved. So leave it alone and focus on your own safety, peace, health, and salvation. Like, because these people out here, they will not do the same for you, and they don't want help anyway. These people did not come, they don't believe Song Gyan anyway. Half of them don't believe him, the other half don't listen, so it's like there's just no point. He could have just stayed his ass home. But, I digress. This is a good show. They had to give us something interesting and give us a plot twist, so here we are. But as I was saying, the first game happens, right? And people see Song Gyan trying to tell them, people are going to start dying. If you move, people are going to start dying. And some people still play with it and think that, oh, I'm not going to die. And then they start dying. People are like, oh my gosh. But even after that, the desperation and they're so destitute. So many people are like, whatever. They're just so desensitized to death and suffering and pain that they're so desperate for money and to get out of this debt. They're just like, we'll continue to risk our lives and continue to keep playing, because if we keep playing, there's even more money on the table. And I just don't understand that. I cannot understand these people's mindset, but it's really a lesson in human psychology. Most people would continue to play. I would not, because if you just watch other people around you die, and they just, the ones of you who've made it, some of you kind of got lucky. Why would you continue to make that type of risk? Why would you, penitentiary chances and risk your life? And like that was an argument made. Like, if you can go on another day. You're really willing to risk your life over the chance to have some money, not even a guarantee. Because a lot of these people are so delusional. They think that we're just going to play one more game. You may not make it through another game. So why would you want to keep playing? You might not make it. Like, you're assuming that you're going to live. You don't know what's going to happen next game. You don't know what the game is going to be. You don't know what they could throw at you at any moment. You don't know if that you could win all the games and they still murk you in the end, or that they could lie to you. You don't know who these people are. You don't know who you're playing with, literally. You don't know where you are. You don't know any. You don't have enough information about the situation that you're in to even make that type of call, that kind of risky decision to continue to play a game where people are actively dying around you, dying painful deaths around you. Super silly, but it just shows again stupidity and desperation, and how money and debt can just really control people. And again, these people, part of why they're doing what they're doing is because they have bad decision making skills in the first place. Part of why they're even in so much debt and they're even in that situation that they're in is because they make bad calls. They're not good gamblers. They're not good judgments of character. They're not good. They don't judge situations well enough. They just have no intuition. That's so true. Yes. That absolutely. No, because every action there's a reaction. You know what I'm saying? Everything happens for a reason, and there is cause and effect. So no matter what you do, you will, you will have to bear the consequences of those decisions, good or bad. And a lot of people in this show just make terrible fucking choices, and they're just delusional. They don't think clearly. They don't weigh their options well enough. They just don't make good choices. They're very delusional people, and this is how they keep, like, this is how they're on this crash out path. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is how they're on a race to the bottom, literally, because they just keep making bad choice after bad choice after bad choice. And it kind of makes me think of like the couple on the show. So there's this like kind of sort of couple, this pregnant girl, and it's like, why are you pregnant? Why the fuck did you agree to come out here? She's pregnant, and she's player 222, and her baby daddy is player 333. Interesting, right? Both angel numbers, and the 2 comes before the 3. Females do come before the men, because like even in the womb, like all babies are start off as girls first, and then they either develop a penis or they don't. So that's just interesting to notice. But her baby daddy is telling her, once we win this money, I'm gonna like invest in this and we're gonna be good. And it's just like, why are you talking about investing again? You were in so much fucking debt now from a bad investment move. Why are you trying to why you're the first thing you're on your mind is, once you win this money, you're gonna go invest in some more shit? You would think that ending up in hundreds of millions of dollars worth of debt would scare you from investing. And if you did want to continue to invest, that you would pick a more solid, stable investment. Like, why don't you? I'm sure people even overseas need rental properties and need some place to stay. Why don't you like get into real estate? Why don't you, you know what I'm saying, just get some tenants? Why do you feel the need to continue to do all this high risk investing? Because speaking of Thanos and his drug addict friend, Thanos was a fucking fiend. They wanted to like beat her baby daddy's ass, and they eventually did. But it's like he had several people there who wanted to like whip his ass because he had advised these people to like get in on this investment. And I just feel like, dude, why do you want to continue to like do this type of shit? There's so many other things that you could do. You could even take your money and start a fucking record label. They're making K-pop overseas. You don't have to go do crypto or like all of this like stock and like leave that shit alone. You should be thinking like, okay, that didn't work. That's too high risk. Maybe let me invest either less money than what I did the last time, or let me just think of like another investment that is just a little bit or a lot more safe and has higher returns and less risk. But it's like The fact that he's not even thinking about that, like, it just shows he makes poor fucking choices. And it's like, that's the thing. Like, even with the winner, right? With the winner, 456, poor choices. Like, he has a whole fucking daughter. I forgot he even had a daughter until he called her. It's like, he has a daughter who is living with her mom. You trying to save a bunch of people who don't give a fuck about you and don't know you. After you just won all that money, you make bad fucking choices. You just put yourself back in the game. You just spent a bunch of money to get back in the game, to go put your life at risk for a second time, instead of like deciding to just take your money and be with your kid and focus on healing. You put yourself back in the lion's mouth on purpose to try to save a bunch of fucking random people, and try to like go on some war path where you're gonna like take down the system and take down the man. And it's like, fuck all that. You should be focusing on, yo, I just went through a crazy situation. I just want a normal fucking life. But no, you're back dealing with this shit again. And it just shows like these people make horrible fucking choices. And this is part of why the powers that be continue to win. Like, this is why the world is the way it is, because a lot of it is choice. Like, even with Adam and Eve, like, they made poor choices, and there are consequences to poor fucking choices. Like, Satan is always going to approach you and try to manipulate you, but you make the choice in the end as to what you're going to do, period. And these people keep making bad fucking choices, and because what is, I always say, Satan, his nickname is the accuser. And it's that way because once you make a bad fucking choice, when the God comes to judge, because everything and everyone will be judged, Satan will always point the finger back at you and say, well, he chose it, but it was his free will, and he's correct. And you can't keep blaming the devil for everything and, oh, this and that and no. You made those fucking choices. You know, you're the one who decide to go against your intuition and not be tapped in. Because if you have a fucking soul, you can feel in your gut. You should be able to. You should be able to feel in your gut something ain't right. Once you've made bad choices, you do need to sit back and reflect and like think, how'd you even get there and how you're gonna get out? And I get it. Like, sometimes you make a series of bad choices, but then that's when you really start to like assess, okay, what are the patterns that I'm noticing? You know, let me stop being delusional. Let me like think logical and practical. But these people are all in fucking la la land, and they're just fucking idiots. One thing I really want to talk about when I talk about idiocracy and stupidity is there's an episode that pissed me off so bad, where the people are playing this game where they're on like a carousel, like a merry-go-round thing, and it's playing music, and there's like 50 rooms, and they shout out a number, and they're supposed to like get in groups of that number and run into a room. Whoever is not in a room dies. And the people fucked that game up so badly. That is one of the easiest fucking games in the world to play and win. And these people are so fucking stupid, so selfish, so greedy, so exclusionary that they manage, yes, the mingle, thank you, Dion. They manage to fuck that game up. That pissed me off because I was just like, y'all cannot be that fucking stupid. But y'all are. Like, it just, like, people are so stupid to me. Like, literally, when I drive, I hate driving because I feel like people are just so damn dumb. But watching this show, I was just like, y'all are really fucking stupid. Because I kept saying, just grab somebody, anybody. It shouldn't matter, oh, I don't like that person. Oh, I like that person. Or you can't sit with me, or you can't come in my group, or no, not you. And we gotta find, you know, oh, let's go over there and let's grab somebody. Just grab anyone. Do you wanna fucking live? Just grab the nearest person next to you. If they call out, we need 3 people, just grab the people. You have 3, just go. You shouldn't even be thinking about it. It shouldn't even require thought. They only had like 30 fucking seconds to get into a group. Right. It shouldn't fucking matter. Just grab anybody until you have the number of people that you need and run into a fucking room. Even better, just run into a fucking room. And then when that room fills up with 3 people, 6 people, go to the next room. It just doesn't have to be that fucking stupid. Like, it doesn't have to be all of that. I felt like it was a lot of fucking just stupidity. And my mom was like gagging because remember, like, there are people who are playing, like, let's do rock, paper, scissors to see if, like, why are we playing rock, paper, fucking scissors? Why are we holding up time playing rock, paper, scissors when we could just fucking go into a room? But this is what I mean. It just is like there are people here who are all in a bad situation. All of y'all are in heaping amounts of debt. And this could be your only chance to pay it off. And the only y'all are so fucking desperate and, you know, just like selfish that the only thing that you could think about is how you can go against somebody else and again beyond that, like, oh, you can't sit with me shit, bitch, you are a broke ass bitch that's in debt up to your fucking, you are drowning in debt, hoe, drowning, and you have the fucking nerve and the gall and the ego to be trying to like pick who can sit with your broke ass. Like, that shit is crazy. Bitch, you can't even afford the hair on your fucking head, but you're out here trying to talk about rock, paper, scissors. Like, what the fuck? Like, that was some stupid shit. But again, it reveals human psychology and just how, like, people can be, like, so self-sabotaging. And it just shows so busy trying to, like, hurt other people, so busy trying to work against other people. You fucking idiots end up hurting yourselves. Like, you're not making shit any better for yourself trying to go after other people and trying to stop other people and just, you know what I mean? It really just shows that. And it is a big, I'm telling you, great lesson in human psychology. And this is part of why Song Gi-han should have sat his stupid ass at home. And just greed. A big conversation on greed. Just so fucking stupid. A lot of people, what's up, Jetto? You know, here's another thing. Here's my thing. I feel like if these people are fucking dumb, because if they were really about that life, they would have fucking murked everybody in their sleep and just that would have made it easy. I feel like if you really feel like fuck everybody, I'm all about myself, then they would have just, somebody who was really about it would have properly planned to just murk everybody in their sleep and just no more games. I'm taking all the prize money home. Now, they probably would have still died because the people probably would have been like, that's against the rules. You didn't play the game. But that's how the Hunger Games was. The Hunger Games, you could either hide the whole, like the Hunger Games, you could play dirty. The people didn't give a fuck. The people at the Capitol, they didn't give a fuck. They were like, we don't care if you, how you win. We just want to see some blood spill. We just want to see some people die. But Squid Games, I think they're really all about like, you gotta play the game, you gotta like participate, you gotta like, we want to really see what you're made of. But I know in the Hunger Games, they didn't give a fuck. Because they did have somebody who, they were saying like in the history of the games, they had somebody who made it to the end because they just hid the whole fucking time. So they don't give a fuck. They just want to see some shit. They there to be entertained. And the people from Squid Games are too. Yeah, they did. They did throw hands in the bathroom, and they did have a situation where all of that shit popped off. But I still felt like that was just too much commotion for no reason. Somebody should have thought ahead and been like, fuck getting into all these motherfucking fights. Fuck all of that. I'm gonna move like a smooth criminal, and you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just like, I just felt like these people don't have enough of a mind of their own. There was no need for them to even do all of that shit. And you know what that started from? The fucking 2 troublemaking ass junkies. Another big theme in this show was addiction. Addiction. The Thanos dude and his junky ass club promoter friend, they have a huge issue with drug addiction. And that addiction, again, poor choices, getting into all types of heroin, using needles, popping pills, that drug addiction and that form of addiction and bad decision making is consistently leading them to go do more stupid self-destructive shit. But you know what this is also talking about? This show is talking about self-preservation and I forgot like that survival of the fittest. Yes. His crazy ass trying to rap. Fucking weirdo. But survival of the fittest. A lot of people are not gonna fucking make it because they're just so fucking stupid. They don't even deserve to live. Mother Nature is just gonna figure out a way to like eliminate that bitch. And a lot of times people just get rid of themselves. Like they're a victim of their own fucking stupidity. Period. And it really goes to show you too about karma. Because it's like again, focus on your fucking self. Stop trying to intervene with other people's lives. Stop trying to intervene with their fucking karma. Stop trying to save them. Stop trying to warn them. Let people figure their own shit out and live their own fucking journey. Like let it be what it's gonna be. Stop trying to fucking go against people. You should be neutral to people. Don't try to save them. Don't try to hurt them. When you try to hurt them, you're bringing bad karma on yourself. When you try to save them, you're inhibiting or you're taking on their bad karma. Just let the fucking chips lie where they're gonna lie. Let Mother Nature do its thing. Let the shit work itself out. A lot of these hoes are so stupid, they're going to fall on their own sword anyway. Their own stupidity is going to get the best of them anyway. So just let it happen. A lot of life lessons to be learned watching Squid Games. But again, it just talks about greed too. Just so much greed. You know, let's play one more game. And notice how the people who ran the game always have like the piggy bank above them where they're like actively throwing money on it. Throwing money in it. That is just a way to continue to entice people and keep them thirsty, hungry. They put the money, they dangle the fucking piggy bank right in front of their eyes. This, this could be yours. And that's something else that was like stupid to me too. I'm thinking y'all got guns and using the fucking, guns to shoot each other. Bitch, shoot the piggy bank and have the money come down. Stupid bitches. Like, these people do not think enough for me. They are just so easily manipulated and so easily controlled. I felt like the people just didn't have a lot of strategy. They were fucking stupid. And they were just so distracted. So distracted. And I think that's another thing too. I think just being around so many people is a great way to consistently be distracted and sidetracked with shit that does not help you, grow you, serve you, benefit you, whatever. Because if these people were by themselves, like this is why they say isolation leads to elevation. Because when you're surrounded by a lot of people, it's so easy to be influenced by their actions, their words, their energy in general. Thank you, Petro. Whereas like if you're welcome to the channel, whereas like if you're by yourself, again, you can just like try to be alone with your own thoughts and think more clearly. But even with that, if you're a fucking idiot, you're gonna have nothing but stupid thoughts and you're still gonna just take yourself out. So you can't cure stupid. Yeah, that was also interesting. Her number was 11, and 11 is a very important number in Freemasonry. So I thought that was interesting too. That I just found that interesting. I definitely feel like she has a story. She's probably still alive. We're probably gonna see her in season 3. Hopefully she can get her daughter back if she's worth any damn, because there's a lot of shitty ass parents. So yeah, that was interesting with her. You just gotta. We didn't really get all into her story. We got into some of it, but there's so much more to be explored there. I think they're definitely gonna wrap that up in season 3. Something else I really want to talk about before I step off is the weak men. this show really opened my eyes to the stereotype about Asian men. Because I'm sure some of you know, a lot of Asian women do not like to date Asian men. A lot of them date out. They're looking for a white man, or they will date black men. They will date, sometimes you see them with Latinos, but you really see Asian women, and there's still plenty of Asian couples out there. But there is this conversation around Asian women not wanting to be with Asian men and constantly dating out, particularly with white men. And when I watch this show, because I'm not a person to feed into stereotypes too much, but there's truth to all stereotypes. There's truth to them. And doesn't mean that they're always true all the time, but they come from patterns. That's how stereotypes are formed, from patterns, from several different people having the same experience with several different people from a particular group, whether it's based off of sexual orientation, based off of where they're from, their religion, their race, even their height. Short men have a stereotype, and the New Yorkers have a stereotype. Californians have a stereotype. You know what I mean? Just want to break that down for those of you in the back who have never had it broken down to you before. Asian men have a stereotype besides their body parts being small, which is an ignorant way of thinking. I don't stand behind that rhetoric, but they do have a stereotype that, right, Petro, absolutely, that they're weak, that they're soft, kind of feminine, and just weak, that they are crybabies. They're not the most masculine guy. They're not tough. They're not macho. They're emotional. They're kind of wimpy. They're just not tough. They're just not the, tough masculine guy who's gonna protect you. And part of being a man is to protect and provide. That's not to say to be taken advantage of by these crazy ass 304s and hookers out here. But as a man, you should be focused on. This is why I'm judging the main character, player 456, so hard. Because I'm just thinking, nigga, your kid is still alive. You still got a daughter, but you focusing on these bum ass niggas who you don't even know. You need to go home and raise your fucking kid. You got all of this money. You should be trying to put your kid on the right path. You should be trying to help her go into college, or just give her a trust fund and help raise her with a good life for the rest of your life. Not back at this raggedy ass game with the bullshit. Hey, what's up, Jessica? Good to see you. It's been a minute, girl. So with these men, right? I was very disappointed. But this is not the first show. This is not the first show that's written by Asians that depicts Asian men like this. Because this is why I really want to have this conversation. Because it's very easy to say that, because most writers in Hollywood are white or ooish. It's very easy to say that, oh, Hollywood is writing Asian men. Right, he was a stupid bitch. It's very easy to say, oh, the Hollywood is writing Asian men this way. And right, let's talk about it, Petro. Or saying the white people, they want to write Asian men as a certain way, because there are videos. That's okay, girl. I've been working too. There are videos on YouTube that do break down the origins of Asian stereotypes, and they do talk about how Hollywood portrays the Asian man. But when you see, just like with the movie Baby Boy, black men have stereotypes too. Okay, and many black people are living that stereotype and have been a victim of stereotypical non-present black fathers. And when you see movies like Baby Boy, that shit is somebody's real fucking life. That ain't no white man trying to rewrite history, nigga. That's real fucking life. You know at least 3 niggas that are living the fucking whole script of Baby Boy. Let's just talk about it. We here to have difficult conversations. So with movies like Parasite, I'm dead ass petro because I'm sick of black people calling everything racism and not wanting to take accountability. We got issues. Black women got issues. Black men got issues. And we're never going to get them fixed if we don't take accountability and talk about them. But in the movie Parasite, and there's another movie too. But that movie in particular, if y'all have seen Parasite, it was an Oscar winning film. And that movie and in Squid Games. And then there was that show called Beef. That was a really good show too. There was a show on Netflix called Beef. It was also like an Asian show. Great show, great writing. I reviewed it on here on YouTube. You got to go check out my review. And I think it was written by, again, had an Asian producer, Asian writer, whatever, whatever. It was taught, all those shows. Yeah, Parasite was that one great film. All of them were talking about how all of them depict how weak and sensitive Asian men can be. And that is a fucking turnoff. Like, for a woman from the West, I'm American. Come on. Yeah, Parasite was good. Petro, you said every time we become successful is they blame the industry or some cult behavior. It's really slap in the face. I mean, Petro, I get that. That's a whole nother conversation. I feel like I think it's when black men, because there's success and then there's fame. The black engineer who, unless he's boule, but and even within there is some hard work that comes into it. But once people start to become a certain level of famous, you know, oaths will be taken. But there are so many like black people who were in fraternities and sororities and who just like who were serious about their studies and like grinded and like are living a very good life now. So those people, you know, they don't need to be caught up in that cult shit. That's a whole nother conversation, but it's definitely worth talking about in the future. But in the show Beef, I really want to talk about the show Beef because really want to mention that because they had a lady in the show. One of the main characters is about two main characters, and one's a lady, one's a guy, and the woman is wealthy, and her husband comes from money, but he's fucking weak and soft as fuck. And whereas like the main character, I think her name is Amy, she had to like really hustle and grind for like everything that she has, and so she's a lot tougher than her husband. Her husband is just a weak wimp and emotional and feminine and just a bitch. Like the way that he like divorces her in the end, the way he treats her, as the marriage is falling apart, he's just a fucking bitch ass nigga. Like he's annoying to watch. And people who reviewed the show and gave commentary on it were saying her husband, he's a very calm, soft-spoken man. I mean, mind you, he was cheating on her the whole fucking time. But he was cheating on her. When she cheated on him, of course he wanted to file for divorce and all this other shit and take custody of the kid and just be a whole bitch about it. And it's like, dude, are you serious? You were fucking your wife's fucking assistant, like behind her back, but also in front of her face. Like, you know what I mean? Just like some real crazy shit. But people were saying like he was the actual and villain because again he came off like so soft spoken and like so calm, but he constantly gaslights his wife about like her feelings. Like he constantly like doesn't validate her feelings. Like she can be genuinely frustrated about something that is actually frustrating, but he would try to gaslight her and make her feel like she's overreacting and make her feel like she's crazy. Like he's a fucking nightmare to be with, an emotional, manipulative fucking nightmare. And that was a very good dynamic to watch. Because there's somebody out there right fucking now, regardless of race, who was living that fucking life. Who was married to somebody that just fucking sucks and invalidates their feelings, thoughts, and emotions. And that takes such a toll on your fucking mental health. But I want to bring that up because here we go again with all of these weak fucking men. In this show, when Song Gyeon, number 456, when he finally stages a revolt and he gets people together and they get the guns and they're You know, they go to war um with the people in like with the guards, for lack of a better word, with the guards. There's so many men, mainly this one guy named Deho, who used to be a Marine, who is so fucking weak. They don't know how to shoot a gun. Here's another gag. The amount of men that did not step up to go fucking fight. There were so many men that were just like, I'm not going. And it's like, you're a fucking man. And you're afraid to fight. You're afraid to pick up a fucking semi-automatic. And like, that's a good point, Kaylee. But and I want to talk about just cultural differences, because I feel like this. The world, and this, y'all comment your opinions. I do not agree with colonialism and colonization. I don't. I believe in minding your own fucking business and figuring your own fucking shit out. But the world does demonize white men for being conquerors. The world does. And even with black men, I feel like if black men are too tough, you know, people try to feel away, or people try to like the society that we live in, especially in the West, the society. Exactly, Dion. That's what gagged fucking me. But here in the West, our society, especially under the umbrella and under the spell of white supremacy, our society doesn't want to see black men be masculine. Anytime a black man, that's why you see like they have black men leading a lot of this like rainbow movement, or like you see that's like promoted, like white people and or like white supremacy, the system of white supremacy. I don't want to just say white people, I want to say the system, because white supremacy is a system. The system of white supremacy likes to see black women sexually exploited and poor and destitute and uneducated and down bad and ratchet and ghetto and disempowered. And they like to see the black man as effeminate and conquered. They don't like to see the black man as strong and in his power. Society does go out of their way. Let's talk about it. Because you did bring up something earlier that I feel like pertains to this conversation. More than just success and like material wealth and fame. When black men step into their manliness and are genuinely all about their family and focused, and again doing what a man should do, protect and provide and focus on God and focus on his family, be a real masculine man. When black men step into that energy, the system of white supremacy hates that. That's why you see so many rappers, um, again, feminized, with the long dreads and with the painted nails and dead ass. And I'm so, and but I'm gonna give you guys some more tea. I'm gonna come with some more tea. Thank you, Micah. I'm gonna give you guys some more tea about this. But when black men, that's why you see, yes, the rappers, right? You see them sagging their pants. You see them, wearing eyeliner like NBA Youngboy and like all these things. And I'm gonna really connect this because this shit is deep, you guys. Like when you really, really think about it. But society likes to see black men as feminine. Our society does. That's why they make music talking bad about women. And, we are like under this spell of, you know, um, especially the black man, under the spell of like having kids, abandoning his family. That's what little boys do. They abandon things when things get tough. And even like during slavery, a part of like taking a man's masculinity away was the buck breaking and R wording his wife, or R wording his love interest, was to break down his masculinity. It's just like men do it today. Oh, I took your bitch, or I fucked your bitch. Like that's a way to mess with the man's masculinity, because men are just as possessive and territorial as women. You're supposed to be territorial over something that you love, right? So when you see during slavery, so many of the plantation masters, again, messing with, or like deliberately, messing with the black woman in front of the black man, in front of her black spouse, and again, like buck breaking the men, engaging in sodomizing black men and putting them in servitude positions, yes sir, massa, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes sir, no sir, all these things. It was to break down their masculinity and to turn them weak and soft. And that is still happening till this day. And it's mainly happening through Hollywood. But you also see it through the prison system and through the school system too. But you see it a lot through the prison system and Hollywood. Because in Hollywood, or excuse me, the prison system, I definitely feel like part of the prison system was part in like the move and the war on drugs and all of this mass incarceration was to feminize black men. It wasn't just about taking the black man out of the home, breaking up black families. It was about feminizing black men and weakening them and breaking down their masculinity, because we know, no, an Oscar does not get you more money. It's supposed to, but a lot of times Oscars, when you get an Oscar, people feel like, oh, they're too expensive now to hire. So it just could go either way. But an Oscar, I mean, it could or it couldn't. At the end of the day, these awards, that's the gag. These awards don't really, if you really wasn't working, if you're really not a hustler, if you're really not talented, the awards, you know what I mean? In the grand scheme of things, they really don't fucking matter. You either have it or you don't. You either really out here getting it or you not. Because imagine being Cardi B with a whole fucking Grammy. Cardi B is not booked and busy this fucking year. So, okay. It's not like her bookings have just not stopped. Like, they got plenty of people with Oscars who you don't see working all the time. Like, Anna Paquin has an Oscar. She was in that show True Blood. And she don't be working, right? I just talked about her. You don't see Anna Paquin constantly booked on different sets. Like, they got a bunch of bitches with an Oscar who you haven't seen in a movie in years, and they're not in demand. So that's why these people would be trying to tell y'all these awards really don't mean shit. Bitch, do you have an agent? Do you have talent? Can you get a booking? Because what's the point of being in a room full of a fucking awards and your bank account is, coughing and throwing up? Bills is due. So just do the math. But anywho, the mass incarceration agenda was not just about breaking up black families. It was about feminizing black men, putting a bunch of men in the same tight quarters so that like weird rainbow shit would pop off. And then they leave jail feminized and sometimes with the package. They kind of come out of jail different than what they come in. And we know that. That's talked about a lot. That's been talked about for decades with Don't Drop the Soap. And again, like, oh, he had a boo in jail or he had a boyfriend in jail. And didn't I just talk to you guys about how, unfortunately, interesting, Micah. Definitely got to talk about it. Thank you for mentioning that. But I was just telling you guys that sorry, I lost train of thought because I'm trying to I just wrote down that news. Fuck. What was I just telling you guys? Sorry. I really I lost it. God damn it. Micah, that kind of broke my fucking train of thought. Now I'm trying to remember where I left off. Yeah. Yes, Petro. Let me think. Whatever. Let me just try to pick up somewhere and just get back on track. there's a reason why all this shit is like going on with this mass incarceration. It's to feminize the men. Oh yes, the rite of passage. That's what I was saying. With jail in the black community, and unfortunately to black men, going to jail is seen as a rite of passage to an extent. Again, I told you guys before that Charleston White was talking about this, that he thought that, like, I'm glad you mentioned it, but I'm like, shit, I'm in the thick of something. And Ken the Man was like completely like just not a part of this talk. So I wrote that down to talk about it and to look into it, and then I was like, wait, where'd that leave off? But I do appreciate that you be dropping tea. But yes, like the going to jail is seen as a rite of passage. And it's like going to jail, going to lay up with a bunch of other men is seen as a rite of passage. You know, why would you, and like some men say, why would you want to leave your family, leave your girl to go be around a bunch of other men? So see what I'm saying? It's a lot of just like, you know, rainbow shit being pushed. There is a rainbow agenda, and it's been pushed on black men through, again, mass incarceration and, oh, you know, going to jail. Even with rappers, we've already talked about this, where so many rappers end up going to jail. It's an initiation ritual. It's a level up ritual. And you see, again, like people like Lil Wayne, feminine. People like NBA Youngboy, turn feminine. You know, Gunna, been wearing women's clothes. You know, Young Thug, feminine. Like, yes, it's like you see this long thread of rappers who go to jail. And it's like perpetuating the idea that going to jail is a rite of passage. But most of these rappers are what? Already fucking fruity. They've already been turned out by the industry. And then you see them with names again like Young Thug, Lil Baby, Dub Baby, the feminization and the infantilization of the black man, turning the black man into a child. And this is even talked about like by a professor who was saying that notice how black men like call their homes like, yes, the boy, talk about that. They'll call their homes like, oh, cribs. You know, oh, my crib. And what do they call their car? Oh, my, you know, I got some new toys. Like, there's so much childishness that is like subliminally built into the black man's mindset and just his like day-to-day like thinking and way of life. And you know, it's so easy, it's so ingrained that we don't even notice it. Yes, the black men, they don't want to get married, they don't want to take care of their kids, like they do not have like the same priorities as like the typical Latino or white man. Even the Asian man wants to like, most of them want to step up and like take care of the family. They may not be the most masculine men, but a lot of black men have been conditioned to just continue to just be forever teenage boys. And yeah, I get that, Petro. Like, I feel you. I'm here for it, but I want to talk about the truth today. And there's a lot of black men that just have no guidance, which is how they get put into the cycle of trying to provide, because they don't have their father was a forever boy, and so he never taught his son like this is the right way to pursue. You're good, but it's like this is the right way to pursue what you're trying to get. This is, you don't have to pull out the pot when you're out of options. No, go get a fucking job anywhere you can get a job, save your money, and build from there. You know, work your way up, build from there. You know, get a trade or just, you know, do what you got to do. But you don't have to pull out a pot and, you know, fucking sell drugs and like cook crack. Like, you don't have to do that. That's a choice too. That's a fucking choice too. Because, and let's talk about that real quick, because I like Jay-Z, I like his music. But when I thought about that today, actually, where he was like, I put out the pot when we was out of options or whatever. It's like, you did not have to sell fucking drugs. You didn't have to cook crack. You didn't have to do any of that. You chose to do that. And rap music will push this idea that, oh, we were so desperate and so down bad, I had to water whip and I had to cook crack and, you know, you didn't have to do none of that shit. You chose that shit. You chose that. You chose to skip school. You chose to sell drugs. You chose to do rap. You chose the things that you fucking chose. So, but they push this idea on black men that like this is the way out through the struggle. I got it out the mud. Like because you chose to go do some illegal shit that led you into more crime. Fuck out of here. Like again, the lack of accountability. I'm going to touch on it tonight. But I wanted to touch on that because just talking about the feminization of black men and getting back to the feminization of the Asian man. I don't know much about Asian culture. I just know that the little bit I do know is that their parents tend to be very strict. And whatever they have going on in their raising, the women do tend to be more dominant than the men. The women tend to like run the household. And again, there are like some tough Asian dads out there, but the women overall, from what I have seen and experienced, tend to be the one that are more dominant, more aggressive, more the leader, more take charge, which in most relationships, the women do tend to. In America, what are you talking about? I mean, I would say, yeah, maybe in America, because I've never been overseas to like, I've never been to their countries overseas to like have a like, front row view. But I have had many Asian American friends who their moms were like the more, dominant ones. Right, definitely Micah. These people are fucking like pushing that scam and rob and all that stupid shit. Like it's just annoying. But I feel like whatever they have going on and how Asian men are raised, because I've looked into this a little bit, and they're saying like Asian men are just raised to just do what their parents say and be obedient and follow orders and just keep their head down, stay out of trouble, focus, study, do the right thing, whatever, whatever. And I feel like it's in a man's nature to be rebellious. It's in a man's nature to fight. It's in a man's nature to, yeah, definitely, Micah. It's in a man's nature. Yes, Kaylee. So thank you guys for adding in. Yes, the moms are typically like tiger mom, involved. And like sometimes you see that dynamic even in white families sometimes, but I feel like it's a little bit more evenly mixed. It's a little bit more of a balanced mix. Sometimes you have a super dominant dad, sometimes you have a super dominant mom. Whereas like in Asian culture, the men are just fucking soft and weak. And that's not healthy because men have testosterone for a reason. That's why they say let your nuts hang, because men have testosterone for a reason. They are designed to protect, provide, compete, fight. You see it out in the wild. That's why you see male rams going at it all the time. You see frequent battles between between male species out in the wild. And like even again with young boys, like they play fight and they like to wrestle, and like that's why sports are like mainly for men. Yes, when women play sports, we can play sports, but when you start talking about like high stakes, start getting paid a lot of money, professional sports. What are you saying, Petro? I mean, I don't. Okay, pause. I don't know, like what you're insinuating. Are you saying like because I haven't been? Are you talking about like when I said I haven't been to Asian countries? What are you saying? We get that by traveling. Too much estrogen? Are you talking about the men? Oh yes. Okay. You're talking about the guys. Sorry, I'm just like trying to get like what you're referring to, because I did mention I haven't like seen their culture. Like I've never been to Korea, I've never been to Japan, I've never been to China. I'm not trying to really go over there because I don't want to be the only black person. I mean, I know there's black people, but it's just kind of like weird to like their culture is so homogenous. But yeah, when you start talking about like basketball, football, soccer, like when you think of like high levels of sports, like girls, like when girls take sports like high stakes, it's usually like gymnastics or like cheerleading. But, like Simone Biles, she's a fucking gymnast. See what I mean? Look how big she is. But isn't her man like a football player? Again, soccer players, hockey players, because men are meant to compete, fight, play sports, go outside, be active. They're meant to sweat. They're meant for that. Like, this is another conversation too about like women. Like in our society, women are like just now starting to realize like all that girl boss shit is like not healthy for our hormones, because we are not designed to work like men. We are not designed for stress like men. Men can take higher levels of pressure and stress and opposition. We are not built like that. We are not designed um, to do what men do. So it's okay to just like be a woman and like let a man be a man. Because like, yes, it's nice to have your own shit and work hard and girl boss and like do your thing. But it's so easy to like throw off your hormones because you are trying to work like a fucking man. Period. You're not even built like that, literally. So with Asian men, we see this stuff on TV, even written by other Asians, about how fucking weak they can be. And it is such a turnoff because when I watched these men on Squid Game, especially season 2, cry, whine, you know, duck from a fight, run from a fight, um, and just cower down and just be so fucking, you know, bitch made and weak. It is disgusting to watch. Because let's talk about it. There's a player, and in addition to Daeho, the one who is supposed to be grabbing the extra ammo, and he decides to punk out and like crawl up in a fucking ball with the ammo and like cry and like completely just evade the fight. There's this player, player 125, and he watches a girl get completely brutally like unalived in front of him, and he does nothing to try to stop the guy. All he does is like throw a bottle. He watches her get unalived, and he like hides and cries and like covers his ears and like shakes and like rocks back and forth like a fucking 5-year-old child. I was like, this guy is like, you are fucking worthless. And that's the thing, like, when when we on during the show, the guy Gong Yu in the suit, the salesman dude who like initiates or like recruits the people for the game, he was calling the people like, you're worthless trash, they're trash. And that's a very like misanthropic like way to like view humanity. It's just worthless trash. Oh, because you're in so much debt, you're just worthless trash. But unfortunately, there is some truth to that. If you as a man cannot protect a woman, you're fucking worthless. Yeah, thank you. You're fucking worthless. Like, because it's like literally when I was watching this, I was like, bitches from the hood can fucking win these fights. The average mob of fucking hood bitches would have whooped ass. We've seen so many videos on fucking World Star of bitches, these hood girls who will fuck you up. Sharkeisha, no. And I hate to make fun of that because that video was like very outrageously like just senseless violence. But Sharkeisha could have took these niggas. Like when Glorilla first came out and she was in that video with like all of her friends, but her hood rat friends, them bitches would have like, you don't want no smoke with them bitches. You don't want no smoke with the bitches that JT and Young Miami grew up with. They will fucking end you. They will beat your ass. They will jump you and fuck you up. And so just like watching all these scary ass bitch ass men, like just, you know what I mean? Just thank you, Kaylee. I don't got time for that bullshit. Just watching like these fucking bitch ass men, like, you are a fucking man. You can do more damage than a woman, but you choose to fucking be a punk. That shit was infuriating to watch. It's like, you are worthless trash. You can't even do the bare minimum. Even the dude, let's talk about it. Even the dude who had the baby mama, player 333, punk ass nigga. Like, there was so many times that the Thanos dude, like, nudged him in the forehead and, like, tried him several times, and, like, he did not swing. He did not swing first. He was, I'm just like, you letting this nigga try you? You should have been whipped his ass. Just a fucking punk. And it's like, you got somebody pregnant. You know what I mean? You can't protect your BM. And isn't that the main thing that the Thanos dude told him? He was like, I'll take your bitch. I'll take your whole fucking life. And it's like, because, like, he may be a fucking cracked out addict, but he still has enough masculinity in him. And notice, catch this. Catch how him being in his masculine energy, he was like trying to rap. Like, oh, I'm a rapper, blah, blah, blah. Because other cultures of men, unfortunately, adopt some of the bad habits from the black community as like ways to be masculine or ways to be like hip or cool. You know, you see the bitches, they want to get lashes, nails, and braids and BBLs and big lips. You see the men, they want to fucking wear Jordans and get their hair cut a certain way and wear chains and get tattoos and like rap. Just catch that. You know what I mean? Just catch that. So Thanos was like, I'll take you a bitch, take your life, blah, blah, blah. Because like he's masculine enough to know that that's like some of the foundations of being a man. Like, I'll beat your ass and take your bitch. Like, period. He's like, that's his way of like, I'm gonna sun you, I'm gonna conquer you. Because again, like part of being a man is to dominate other men, and it's not supposed to be sexually, but it's supposed to, if you can lead, it's supposed to be about being a leader. If you can lead a pack of men, because again, men are naturally rebellious, they're naturally competitive. If you have enough masculinity to lead and direct a pack of them, then that's a true testament that you are at the height of manhood. That's why like we have like a president of the United States. That's why like the Indians have a chief, you know, a prime minister, a king, this and that, because that's supposed to be like the highest point of masculinity. Unfortunately, we know that in this weird ass world, it's not. And the way that the elites have it, those are some of the most feminine, conquered men who do the most backdoor activity because we live in a backward society. But it's supposed to be like those are the most masculine, level headed, logical, practical men. So just watching all these men like not be able to shoot, like the guy Deho, he's fucking shooting, he's like duck dog shooting the gun like just aimlessly shooting bullets, like not even thinking, wasting a bunch of fucking bullets, too scared to fucking like even shoot correctly. You have a fucking machine gun in your hand and you still are fucking scared to shoot correctly. It's like if you knew that you weren't cut out for this, you should not have even came to fight. But the amount of fucking men that did not step up to fight, especially like, let's talk about it. The older man who was like super like contrarian and like always wanting some drama. The older guy with the gray hair who got on my fucking nerves. He was very like argumentative, very negative. He was just like always in some shit. I'm just like, nigga, you talk so much shit the entire fucking like season and like the whole games. And when it was time to like go fight and like bust guns, like you didn't fucking go. You sat your old stupid argumentative ass behind. So that means again, you're a bitch. You're just good at running your mouth and like arguing and talking shit. But when it comes time to like scrap, you're nowhere to be fucking found. Like literally, I picked up on it all. I picked up on it all because again, it just reminds me of again real bitch ass shit. You know, we all know a bitch who runs her fucking mouth endlessly, but she can't fight and she don't want to fight. She don't want to fight because she can't fight. Cardi B is that you, and many hoes that you know from your neighborhood and from your high school. So I just am so over it. Like that was so disgusting to watch, the amount of weak men who make poor decisions. And it just goes to show, like there's a saying like weak men create hard times. They say like hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. That's a literal like proverb. And it is like there's again truth to it, because when things are too comfortable for men, like men need adversity to self actualize and to develop. So when things are too comfortable for them, really for anybody, but definitely for men again who have testosterone, they are made to fight, they are made to compete. When things are just too good for them, they do create more worse situations. And so just watching this show and just seeing again how these men think, it's like no wonder why you guys can't fight, no wonder why you guys aren't good warriors, because you've already made so many poor fucking choices. And that's just how you are wired, that's just how you think. You don't have good decision making skills, you don't have good problem solving skills, you don't have any strategy skills, you don't know how to strategize, you don't know how to critically think, you don't have any of the real skills that a man should have to save his own life, let alone somebody else's life, whether that's his spouse or his child. You guys have no survival skills. Like, you know what I mean? They could have dropped y'all niggas off in the fucking woods if they wanted y'all to die faster, because all of the poor decision making that you have done over the years is why you're even here at these games today. And instead of just grinding and figuring it out, you went to go play a game. Now you're in an even worse situation. And when you had the opportunity to rise up and defeat the opposition, you still cowered out because you just don't have any fucking survival skills. Survival of the fittest. That is what this show was really talking about. Survival of the fittest. Like, that is a big theme. A lot of them passed away because they never had any fucking survival skills anyway. And the witch who got on my fucking nerves too, the witchy spiritual bitch, she was saying, oh, our destinies are already, already determined. To an extent, yes. Because if you are just a bitch as a person, a scary hoe, like, you know what? Things are gonna, yes, the crazy bitch, things are just gonna continue to happen in life that like determine where you're gonna end up, because at every fucking every turn of opposition, you're gonna fucking back down, you're gonna like cop the plea, you're never gonna like do your time, you're never gonna like eat your humble pie, you're never gonna like lay in the bed you made, you're always gonna like cop out. And so that's why a lot of these people fucking died, because they never had any survival skills or any intelligence to begin with. They were always weak, they were always silly, they were always just dumb. And it's just pathetic. Like, I definitely want to add, coming from the Western culture, we are used to men being more tough and having to step up and prove themselves as men. And we do still have an issue with a lot of the rainbow community because it is seen as weak, because to an extent, okay. And again, the society, in our society here in America, black men are, they don't want them to be they don't want them to be masculine, but white men are demonized for it too. That's why they call it toxic masculinity, because there is such a thing as toxic masculinity, but conquering and being a man and fighting, because white men love to go to war, you know, but to an extent, fighting for what you believe in, fighting for what you want, um, is masculine. That's masculine. That's what you're supposed to do. If you're really about it, like you say you are, you fight for it. You'll kill for it. You'll really start a fucking war behind it. If you really are about it like that, if you really love your God the way you said that you do, you'll unalive somebody. And I hate to like push this rhetoric, but that's just like the foundations of masculinity. So, in our society, white men are demonized for being, or for having toxic masculinity, and then black men are encouraged to be feminine. So again, we live in the upside down. And in Asian culture, they just have a lot of work to do with, I'm not Asian, I don't have a dog in the fight, but in my personal life and on TV, I have seen just how weak and feminine Asian men can be, and it is a very big turnoff because men are not designed like that. And they just give that they are just completely programmed and buck broken in another way. Like, it's, I know they don't have the same history that we do with buck breaking, but I've heard some things about the samurais, but it just gives like whatever psychological programming that they're under is really a fucking detriment to their community, and this is why their women don't want them. Because it is natural, unless you are a lesbian, it is natural for a woman to want a masculine man, and that's why even in lesbian relationships, you see there being a stud, somebody trying to pretend or like, be performative about masculinity, because feminine and masculine just go together. So now I really see this show really showed me why Asian women do not want Asian men, because they cannot even protect their women. They can't even protect their fucking selves. That was just pathetic. With that being said, I covered everything. Let's talk in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and put this up for the replay. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you being here, and I will come back to you very soon with some more content. I'm working. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.